That laugh gets me every time. All right. Hello. Welcome, Cult of Collectors. We're back at it again tonight. We have John producing down below from Low IQ Media. I am Jody with Stills Raising 4Ks. Hopefully, we'll have Charlie to join us later on. He's dealing with some stuff today. But our guest tonight is James. Movies with James. How are we doing tonight, sir?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Doing good.
Yeah, we like getting together every other week and just kind of talking what's happening, getting to know our guests. So we'll just start with you, man. How are you? What do you like collecting? How long you've been? Give us your collecting history.
Yes. So I've been collecting movies for probably about half my life, so about 16 years. My parents owned a indoor rock climbing gym, and right next to that was a pawn shop. So when I got bored of climbing or had to take a break, I would go frequent the pawn shop. And back then it was like $2, $3 for a DVD, 2 for $5.
Yeah,
so I would just load up on DVDs. The guy didn't care if I was, 18 buying R-rated movies or not. So I was young and just, buying a bunch of movies. Probably what really got me started loving movies, though, was Star Wars. As a little kid, I loved Star Wars. I actually got to go to like the first ever Star Wars celebration as a kid.
Wow.
It was in Denver, Colorado, and I didn't realize it was the first one when I was 9 years old, I think, when it happened. But I got to meet like Darth Maul before the movie was even out, and then they took me out of school to see episode 1. I got the whole day off of school. And I remember I was in 2nd grade and all my friends wondered why I wasn't at school. Somehow my parents bought me day 1 tickets back in the day. But what I collect now is mainly steelbooks. I like 4Ks, everything. Premium steelbooks. You can see my top shelf right there. I think the majority of those are from you.
Yes.
Over on your group buys. I think only 1 or 2 are not from you, actually, and you actually offered to get me those. So, but I like premium steelbooks. That hurts my wallet, but it's probably one of my biggest loves. It's a love-hate relationship with those for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I just love collecting movies, try to watch a movie every night. Me and my wife really bonded over movies. Our first date was The Joker. We're still together, so I have a couple premiums of the Joker to kind of celebrate that. I don't usually double dip in premiums too much. I'm doing some 1-clicks now, but
it's dangerous, but okay.
those 1-clicks are dangerous. You're gonna have to cut me off one day on one of those.
I'll be sure to say, "Are you sure?" every time.
Yeah,
can I get the information on this? Are you sure?
Yes. But no, that's my big passion. I just started YouTube about a week ago and released my first video, and then I got a couple more planned in the works. So just enjoy movies and everything around it. Definitely can be an art collector or cardboard collector sometimes, but
right.
I do collect, just regular 4Ks just as much as I do steel books. I just try to hunt the steel book out preferably.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So yeah. And that's about it. I'm on Instagram with Movies with James. That's my YouTube as well. But yeah, I just love talking movies, taking pictures, enjoying chatting with others about movies. And I try to at least watch 1 movie a day. So that's a personal goal of mine.
I wish I could do that. All these damn kids in the house. I swear to God. I try my best.
That's why I have the OLED and the Sonos in the bedroom. So the wife does her work at night sometimes, and I'll go to bed early and just watch a movie.
That's perfect. I'm on the camp. I've got to catch my wife up. She was a book nerd and I was a movie nerd. So I've got to reintroduce her to all these great things, half of which she thinks are dumb, but that's okay. I don't care. But it's
my wife, we watched the Oscars and she didn't understand Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm not sure I understand that movie, but she has made a vow to watch that movie until she kind of understands it, to try to see why everybody loves it so much.
I need to watch it again. Again for sure. I know my dad's really wanting to watch that.
Sorry, I was looking at
No, you're good.
Yeah, everything, everywhere, all at once. That won I think 7 Oscars.
Yeah, I liked it.
So, yeah, it was great. It's just it's not your typical film, so I can understand people not understanding it or really seeing what's going on. It's kind of a trippy movie.
It's got a premium plan, so make room for that one click. God knows what it's gonna look like.
Oh yeah, I definitely gonna. Yeah, I already have the wallet. The wallet is already getting ready for that one.
I'm anxious to see what they decide on with all the artwork, because there's plenty to choose from for that movie. There's some crazy shit.
They could do some cool. I mean, I don't know if they can continue their trend of the glow in the dark with the one clicks or not, and
that'd be cool.
I enjoy the glow in the dark Matrix. I really like the extras that came with that one, and
that one turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. I really like the glow in the dark Batman with the red glow in the dark. That was awesome.
That is one I kind of shoot myself in the foot for not picking up the one click. I think I went with the full slip on that one. I do love that one, but I kind of wish I would have went one click for that one.
Yeah, I've got an issue when it comes to the Batman and the Joker. I've got way too many editions of both of them. It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
I was in that boat a long time ago when I first started getting into premiums. I didn't understand one click. So I'm like, why? Just pick one. You usually got 3 to pick from. Just pick your favorite. And then I believe it was the Joker from Manta Lab. When I saw it was 7 for Manta Lab.
Oh yes,
that one. I was like, okay, well, I have to own that. I just have to. I've got to get my hands on that. And ever since that, I think my next one was the Joker. And
is 7 one of their earlier releases? What number is 7?
It is. Hold on.
Oh, it's 14. 14.
14?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I picked up just the single lenticular on that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
I didn't really mean to pick it up. I was like really bad into eBay at one point, like kind of addicted into the bidding, and I kind of made like a joke of an offer on the 7 that I didn't think would get accepted, and he accepted it right away, and I was kind of like, oh god, I gotta pay for this now. Which I'm really happy I did. I love the steel book on it and everything like that, I mean, the extra booklet is probably one of the best parts right here.
Yes.
I love the extra booklet. The steel book
that
great,
edition. That edition that you had, because I already had. Oh, so you've got the freaking laser disc. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, yes. That puts us all to shame. That beats the one click right there.
Right. But yeah, that edition that you have was the one that I kept out of the one click, because I thought out of the 3, I just loved this cover of them.
I thought it was the best cover, and I really enjoy like when Manta Lab was doing that kind of like that raised gloss artwork material kind of on the back of the slips. Like Film Arena does a pretty good job with that, or at least did when I was buying stuff from them. But I enjoy. Yeah, that's probably my favorite one out of them all.
I've recently tried. I've got one more to hunt down, but they did one of their earlier ones was for the Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah, that's a hard one to find, huh?
I snagged. I think it was the double lenticular. Was the hey Ben Buster? The double lenticular was the first one I got, and that's the only one that I've seen that at least I have. Literally, the entire thing is a lenticular. The front, the back, and the spine. It's all made out of lenticular material.
Is it like 3 pieces too? Like
I'd have to bust it out. I was able to score the single lenticular off of somebody, and then I got an empty one-click box. So I'm slowly building the one click. I just need the full slip, and then I'll have the whole thing. Numbers won't match, of course, but the one click was literally a leather. It's leather. It's supposed to look like his wallet that he got as a gift.
Yeah, it's kind of like, is that how the Revenant one click was? Is leather, or is that one of the slips?
Actually, I don't think. Was that one of the ones that they They didn't do a one-click box for
yeah.
The full slip edition is leather. I have that one.
I think you might be correct on that.
I don't think they offered a one-click box for that one. And I'm fixing to do a deep dive on them because I'm going to do a video on them. I'm in touch with one of the head dudes over there, John. He's a cool dude, but he kind of gave me a brief historical summary of theirs. God, it's probably been like 2 years now when I asked for it. And I just never got around to making the video, but because I wanted more to show off than what I just had. I don't have one of everything they did, but I'm pretty close.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I'm going to do like I think this was their 7-year anniversary or something like that.
I think you are correct. Like, what was their first in their lineup? Was like Constantine? Is that correct?
Constantine was the first thing.
Exclusive.
Yeah, I got one of those editions.
Nice.
I forget which one it is. It's somewhere over here.
Yeah, I am definitely not gonna try to complete that whole Mantalab collection. I salute you for that.
Some of them I'm going to pass on. Like there's some of them I don't even want to hunt down. I'm happy with the one Fight Club that I have. I'm not even going to try to find that one click box.
You help? Didn't you help Dennis?
I did help Dennis. I was kind of the middleman. He found where it was, but he needed to get it from that country to here. So I was able to help him with that, and I made a TikTok video of that because I was like, I'm never going to see this again. Can I at least hold it, please? He was like,
right.
Yeah, that one was crazy. That's a crazy one click, and he got a hell of a deal on that thing. If I would have come across that deal, I probably would have bought it.
I think there's one floating on eBay, but it will never be sold. If someone buys it, I don't know what they do. But I think it's 2,500 is what they're saying on eBay.
That one's been there for a long time. I don't think that guy's getting the hint anytime soon.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a down payment on a car.
Yeah.
Nah.
Do you go to the theater much, or I mean, you obviously said you went on your first date with your wife in the theater, but do you go very much?
I don't have like a membership or anything like that, but they just put in. I don't either. They just put an IMAX into the movie theater right next to my work.
Oh, nice.
So I've been to that one, I think 2 times now. So I saw Ant-Man over there, and then we just saw Creed 3. And then I can't remember what the next IMAX movie is coming out. Or Guardians, I think, is probably the next one that comes out in IMAX. I'll probably see that one there right away.
I think Shazam is this coming week.
Oh, it is. Probably.
This week. Yeah.
That's it should be because I think I saw someone posting that they bought tickets on Instagram. So I want to see Shazam. I actually haven't seen the original, the first Shazam yet. That's probably the only DC DC movie I don't own.
It's pretty good. I think, unfortunately, I
liked it.
I did too. I thought it was a fun film, but I don't know. I think all these, hopefully the Flash fixes all this. Cause I mean, kind of like, Black Adam just kind of left a hole. Shazam is kind of like up in the air. I think that's why James Gunn kind of left it like that. He was like, yeah, there's room for him if he wants to come aboard. I think that was more like, please go see the movie. We made the movie. Please go see it. I don't know if his character is going to go anywhere.
Well, I mean, all this was made before all that went down. So.
Oh yeah.
And the Flash. The Flash was made way before. It's been made forever. They just had all that trouble out of what's his name?
Had all the trouble. They had all the new ideas they had to go back and redo. It's just kind of
that trailer though kind of blew me away.
The trailer looks awesome, and people that have seen screenings of it say it's amazing. Yeah. So I'm hopeful. I don't know where it's going to end. I don't understand like what the end game plan is, but I'm anxious to see it.
If they can get the DC out of the mess, I mean, I love all the DC films on their own, but I think they're just as a continuity. There's just such a mess over there. I love the Zack Snyder universe. I mean, I love Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, and all those, but I'm hoping that I have my faith. I'm going to keep some faith in James Gunn, and I think he'll have a good plan and keep it all together. I think that's what DC was lacking in their first theatrical, presence.
They needed one really strong head person.
The big argument, and I kind of have the same issue with it. The problem with James Gunn is because obviously he did a good job with Guardians, but Guardians was like a no shit comic book. Nobody, and he took it and made something good out of it, but nobody, and that's what he's going to do with the DCs. He's already announced all these different comic books that they're going to make stuff, and they're all these characters nobody gives a crap about. But, and there's nothing wrong with that. There could be some good movies in there, but like the thing with DC is all you got to do is make the Trinity. You got to make Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And do it well, and do it well, and if they're going to ignore that, then it's there's a lot of people that diehard comic book fans, which I'm like comic books. I'm not a diehard comic book person, but I want to see like a really good Superman, really good, all that stuff. Good Batman, good, and the Batman was pretty good, but it's still, I think everybody kind of wants to see Batman maybe more in his prime. Like we never see any of these characters in their prime. They always we never see Spider-Man in his prime, like in his 30s. Like when they keep kind of rebooting, and then they just reset it to the young person. They reset it to the young person. We never see these characters like fully fleshed out and like kind of in the areas of the comic books where they got really good. Like when they were the best at what they were doing.
Yeah. And we got a hint. We got a hint of that with No Way Home when we got to bring Toby and Andrew back, but it was just a hint.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a great theatrical moment too, right there.
Oh yeah.
Loved it.
But I am glad. I am kind of glad that James Gunn. There's somebody going to be at the helm trying to work on the DCEU.
Yeah.
It's not the DCEU. That's always just been kind of a fan thing. It's never been an official name that came out of Warner Brothers. But they need somebody to helm up that kind of universe. They want to do the Marvel thing. Yeah, they need to do it because it's a good time to jump in because Marvel's went to absolute garbage. It's just a dumpster fire. And
Disney's putting out too much stuff at once. I mean, they can't. Good CGI takes time and money, and when you cranking out 5 shows every week and a new movie and but it's tough.
Well, they're losing tons of money because of it instead of just taking their time.
It's starting to show. It's really starting to show.
Well, I mean, I'm hopeful. I read an article about Bob Iger wanting to bring kind of physical media presence back for Disney pretty heavily. They lost, I think, like $2 billion or something in just the physical media market alone last year. So if I could see a Mandalorian on a Blu-ray or a 4K disc, like on a steelbook, and hold it physically, I would buy it in day one.
Oh yeah,
and maybe with the HBO Last of Us, the 4K being announced, maybe Disney will see the sales of that and how they still have good numbers on HBO Max, and how they can have both feet in the water at the same time and double dip on us and make twice as much money.
I was shocked that they were putting that out so soon. I was expecting a season 1 physical media to drop when season 2 was coming out.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting it to come out this year, to be honest. When I saw that announcement, I was like, really? Okay.
Like 3 months from now, when is it coming out? July or June? And the finale just happened, 2 days ago. So
and
that's surprising.
With that in mind, if Disney wanted things to be exclusive for longer, just do that. Like you've got Mandalorian season 3 just now dropping. 1 and 2 should already be out on physical media.
100%.
When you have a next season starting, whatever that first episode drop date is, you should be releasing the prior season maybe a week earlier on physical media to not only, because that'll get people to buy it and they might get hooked in so much they're like, I need to go get Disney Plus because I want to see where this goes.
That's how it's always worked, but in the past, like before, especially television a television show. A week or two before the new season came out, they released the season before's DVD. So then they kind of quit doing that.
I mean, Showtime got me hooked on Dexter, I think, with like the 4th or 5th season. I started watching it live. But I was able to buy all the Blu-rays, in store. And then I ended up paying for Showtime, I think, for like 3-4 months so I could watch Dexter every year.
They got you.
It works. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did all y'all catch the Oscars? I've only seen I didn't watch it live. I've seen all the highlights.
I watched it live.
I watched actually a YouTube stream that was covering it, but they didn't actually have it. They were just talking about it.
I got you.
Some movie reviewers I watch. Film Thread. I don't know if you've ever heard of those guys, but
I think so.
The Film Thread was like a magazine from the 80s, started in the 80s. They just covered like indie movies and stuff, and he covers like everything. They're really good. Chris, what's his name? Chris, I forgot his name, excuse me. But he's a really good movie review. They got a team of people. There's a bunch of them that always write for him, and it's just, but they're kind of more indie focused, but they cover mainstream and everything nowadays. So more kind of a punk rock aspect of movie reviewing, especially back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s. So
yeah, all the main categories, cool. I wasn't really surprised by anything. So, I mean, it was good to see everybody win and good to see everybody's speeches, but all the main categories, I was kind of like, yeah, I pretty much thought that's what was going to happen. So
I thought there were some snubberies of just, nominations, but we all knew about that beforehand, like Top Gun and the Batman for cinematography.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised about the Batman thing.
Like, Top Gun is that movie, I think, made theaters cool again for like a lot of people. And like the fact that they taught the actors how to film themselves in the cockpit with IMAX cameras, and it turned out good. Like in the cinematography, like that wasn't even nominated, was a huge snub in my opinion. But I agree, they were pretty. I figured who was gonna win. There was no surprises.
Oh, the one that upset me was when you had Harrison Ford come out to give out that award. I'm like, well, now we all know who's fixing to win. I don't understand why you put out you might as well have had him hand him the one that he won personally. He's like he walks out. I'm like, yeah, okay, we know who's going to win this. So they've already opened the envelope backstage. They're like, hey, Harrison, come here. But I was kind of upset with that. But
what did you think about Creed 3?
I liked Creed 3. I thought that was probably, I think I liked it better than the second one. It's probably a coin flip between the first and the third for my favorite out of the three. I thought the acting between Michael B. Jordan and, forget his name now, the guy that's taken over Hollywood that plays Kang. Kang, yeah. They're a dynamic duo on screen, and they definitely took over the screen.
See, I disagree. I didn't like it actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought, and that's one thing I thought. I thought the actor chemistry, but in the whole movie with a lot of the actors were just not good. I just think, I didn't think the chemistry between those two, and because I'll sound a little more like an actual movie reviewer when I kind of talk to get more technical about it. And I went in it kind of open minded because I know he directed it, but I didn't. It just didn't, like, I don't know. I felt like there was some hint that it was like a rip off of Rocky 3 or Rocky 4, excuse me. Like, even though it's not the Russian American dilemma going on, and there's something about that, and I just didn't buy the fact that he even needed to box this guy. There was no build up to no real build up to the actual match, and I didn't feel like there was enough like cause for there even to be a match. It just felt like this is what was going to happen, and that's what happened. That's what the movie wanted, so that's what was going to happen. It
was forced. It felt forced, like a forced story kind of to you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I can see that.
the music was all over the place. I didn't like the music, and the score was just not good. It didn't know if it wanted to be hip hop or a classical score. Like,
Yeah,
for example, sorry, just 1 second. For example, just in the training montage was terrible. Like, because it started off with like hip hop, which was fine, but then it like kind of changed towards the end to like this classical, and it was just like it didn't tie in together, like the music, and it's just a lot of little technical things, and I applaud him for directing it, but I feel like it's like directing anymore in Hollywood. I feel like it's all cookie cutter, especially with like Disney. Like they don't even, like they've pretty much admitted, like they don't even, the director's only hired to come in to shoot what little live action there actually is on set. The rest of it, the CG is completely done. So there's nothing left. And I felt like this movie is kind of like that. It's like, it just felt like a very cookie cutter direction. It's like a lot of, he just basically had a lot of people doing the work for him, which you do that in the movie. You have a lot of second unit directors and things like that doing different things, but usually a really good director really leaves their mark, and I didn't really feel he left his mark. And then the final boxing match, you get 2 rounds of them boxing, and then it goes to that crazy ass artistic dream sequence in the middle of it, and then it flashes and you're at the end of the 11th round going into the final round. Like there's like no body. They just skip over the whole match basically, and it just didn't, I just didn't like the movie very much. And I think I'm pretty much alone on this, because a lot of people I was surprised to hear liked it, that I figured didn't like it, liked it. So I believe I've seen a different movie, and like I said, I tried to go in open-minded, and I didn't, and that's what I felt about it.
No, those are, I think, all great points. I don't remember the change of the. I do agree that the training scenes were not as memorable as any of the training scenes in Rocky. I will 100% agree with that. I thought there wasn't the biggest reason for him to fight too. I did enjoy the fight. The dream sequence, I agree, was kind of out of place, how it jumped from round 2 to 9 or 11, whatever that was. But when they were fighting, I did enjoy those shots quite a bit. But there could have been more of that. I do. But yeah, I agree with all those points. But I did enjoy it. I think it's still better for me than the second one. I think the second one's kind of that Russian takeover kind of scene. And I think they did a good job at that, but I didn't enjoy it quite as much as the second one. I thought the fighting was just a little bit better when there was fighting on the screen.
Well, that's the one thing I was thinking about. That would be one pro, because like the Rocky movies, like you don't get a sense that it's based on real boxing. Yeah. But the first 2 Creed movies, they do kind of try to make it look like real boxing. But this movie, they didn't. I think the boxing was a little bit more exaggerated. It was kind of like big hitting. It was like more back and forth. And sometimes you get that in real boxing, but heavyweights usually don't. Heavyweight boxers usually can't slug it out, because one of them's going to knock each other out, because they're just such heavy hitters. They just so. Then they do slug it out, but I felt like it was more like I did think at least the final fight scene was more like you would get in the Rocky movies. It felt a little more cinematic than real boxing.
Yeah. I enjoyed that aspect of it quite a bit. If you want to see, real boxing, I think what's the Criterion movie? Raging Bull. I think that one does a pretty good job of showing some real boxing.
Yeah, that's an excellent movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a first time watch.
I always forget that guy's name. The guy that's based on kind of a true story. That guy. So.
Oh yeah, what is his name?
Yeah, I always forget his name. But something else I noticed while I was at the theater is you can tell Hollywood's kind of running out of original ideas a little bit. At least the mainstream of Hollywood is, because I think there was 2 to 3 bioptic films that were, and I love bioptic films, but like there was like 3 trailers for bioptic films, and like when they start doing all that, I was like, the originality is kind of going out the window, because like we used to get maybe 1, you might get 1 or 2 a year, but like they had like three or 3 movies. Like, but that George Foreman movie looked kind of cool. I don't know if you guys seen a trailer for that, the George Foreman bioptic.
I haven't seen that.
The trailer that surprised me, I don't know if they've done any trailers at the theater or not, but was for the new Nike movie coming out.
Yeah, I've seen that one as well.
Oh yeah, that looks good. Is that going to theaters, or is it streaming?
It is. That's going to I think
Theater.
2 theaters. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I think it will be on streaming probably pretty quick. I think it's an Amazon produced movie, but I mean, it's got some big stars in it, so I definitely want to check that one out.
Yeah, it's Ben Affleck directed it, didn't he?
Yeah. Matt Damon, I think's in it. Like maybe Jason Bateman or something like that too, or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looked pretty good. Like I say, I like biopics, but it's just so many of them. It's like, it's kind of strange, because we've got several in the last couple of years.
Well, Hollywood loves to go in like trends and themes, so like we got Rocket Man and Bohemian Rhapsody within a year of each other, right? For biopics, and then so I'm sure if one biopic does well, another studio is just going to jump on the same bandwagon, unfortunately, and put it out.
Oh, but to get back to you were talking about Disney, or you or Jody were talking about Disney getting into the physical media. See, they have the whole like Fox catalog, and that's some of the stuff they've been kind of holding back releasing for the most part.
Yeah,
and I kind of wish they would go back and, like, at least for the original Star Wars, I wish they'd go back and rescan the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, because they got different scans than Star Wars. Star Wars had been scanned, like, I think as early as like 2013 or 14
by Fox.
Yeah, by Fox, and it looks so much better than the rest of that box set. Well, I have that big bomb box or whatever that came out with all the 4Ks. Yeah. Even though the newest movies are, for the most part, the first one I can live with, but the other 2 are terrible. Like
yeah, I got my Star Wars shirt on. No, I agree with you. The problem with the sequel trilogy is kind of was similar to DC's problem, is they didn't have a start and finish game plan, really. I don't think they went with 3 different directors, which is okay, but they went.
Well, I think Lucas had the plan, but they chose to ignore it.
Oh, of course. After Lucas sold, I think they probably don't want to call him as much as they can.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as I know, like the story goes, he handed them the plan.
Yeah.
And he sold it all. He was like, here's the next trilogy. This is where it's supposed to go. And they were like, thank you.
I mean, they should have, in my opinion, they should have just gave the sequel trilogy to like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and said, work your magic. And I mean, they've proven it with The Mandalorian, I think. And I think diehard Star Wars fans can agree that The Mandalorian is pretty good lore and does a good job. But no, I mean, I would have been a fan if they would have tried to adapt, maybe like the original Legends material that they're starting to adapt into their shows a little bit more. But like the Thrawn trilogy in books is probably one of the greatest sequel trilogies of Star Wars, in any type of media I've read or watched or anything like that, in my opinion.
Which upcoming series is he going to be a part of? There's one coming.
I think he's going to be probably in Ahsoka, but like, so.
Okay,
They kind of have a call out, a little Easter egg in the first episode of season 3. Yeah. Towards the end of Rebels. But if he comes out in live action, I think Star Wars fans are gonna have a heyday and freak out, and it'll be definitely big news on the internet.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, I don't give Disney any money anymore.
No.
I don't give them because they've just I don't even like really the Mandalorian stuff myself. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to make you mad.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's not really deep seated for me, but the hatred or nothing. I don't hate it. It's just I just how do you take a series like that you could make billions of dollars off of and make this crap that they're doing? Just like it's just garbage. Just like
do you like the CGI like aspect at all? I mean, I think their locations look pretty good for how they're filming it. Since they're not really filming it like in person physically, they're just using that kind of dome.
Yeah, that like
TV
CG
room.
wall that they got going on. Yeah.
It's like a video game engine or something like that.
I mean, honestly, after watching like Mandalorian season 1, after watching like the behind the scenes and seeing that, now that I've seen the behind the scenes, I can kind of point it out a little more. But I mean, they did a pretty good job. I was surprised at what they got away with by using that.
Yeah, but no, I mean the sequel trilogy, the Rise of Skywalker is the common problem with a lot of throwback films that were nostalgic is they just try to throw in all the Easter eggs for nostalgic purposes, and don't focus on a story. And it's a lot of repeat culture, like we were talking about earlier. Is they just take something that worked, change a little bit of the story aspect, and then pump it out again. And I thought The Force Awakens was pretty much almost a copy of A New Hope in a lot of ways, but it worked. And then The Last Jedi was kind of its own, thing. I enjoy The Last Jedi by itself, but in its place in the Star Wars world, it doesn't really have a spot that helps move the story forward, really, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then The Rise of Skywalker is just a fan service.
Well, it's just I mean, how do you make a Star Wars movie where you don't bring back Han, Leia, and Luke in the first movie, the first damn scene of the movie? How do you not bring them back? And then you like never bring them back because one of them ends up passing away. The actor actually passes away. How do you not? I just can't figure that out.
Are you going to go see the new Indiana Jones then when it comes out in theaters, or are you going to hold off a little bit on that one? Are you skeptical?
Yeah, especially everything I've heard about it because it's had a dozen reshoots and it's got Phoebe Waller-Cates. Is that her last name? Phoebe Waller-Cates? Yeah, I think Phoebe Waller-Bridger.
That might sound right.
At the helm. She's the girl that did that. She did like a show. It was on Amazon Prime. It was I can't think of the name of it, but I don't know. I think she was behind writing that new James Bond movie, and it's just like you see how horrible that was, and yeah, and I just don't. We don't know where it's going to go because it's got people started criticizing everything about it, and then they said, "Well, we're doing reshoots." I don't know if they're trying to change things that people predicted, and scripts got leaked, and it's just been all over the place. So I have no faith. It's another one of them that's been delayed forever. They've been shooting it or reshooting it forever. So I just don't. I have no idea. I mean, I don't have much faith in it. Especially if they do what they are wanting to do, and I don't want them to do it.
Yeah, I'm just looking skeptical.
Just watching the trailers. It's almost kind of hard to look at. It's got a weird look to it. I can't really place it. I don't know if it's
very digital looking.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot, and I mean it's unfortunately reminded me of the last one, and the last one was not good. So I don't know why. I don't even know why we're doing it. I mean, if you were going to do Indiana Jones, I think it was either time to start from scratch with a new actor, start a whole new thing, or do a good pass down at the very beginning or something. But I at this point, I'm still gonna I'll see it whether or not I'm going to see it in the theaters or not. I have no idea, but I don't know if I understand it. I don't think we need it. And it's I don't know, it looks way too digital. Like take away the whole de-aging bullshit and all that stuff. Just like the action scenes.
I mean,
Everything just looks.
I think the de-aging scene actually looks probably better shot than some of the other scenes, even with all the digital nonsense.
Maybe that's where all the money went. But
yeah.
I don't know.
How do you feel about and I was just reminded of this because my dad started watching season 3 of Mandalorian, and I asked him if he liked Boba Fett. He was like, I only watched like maybe 2 episodes of that. I'm like, well, didn't you wonder like why Grogu was back at the beginning of Mandalorian? He was like, I was wondering that. Like that. I was like, well,
that's why he was back.
I was like, you got to watch you got to watch this like 1 episode or 1 or 2 episodes of Boba Fett to understand that. So we watched them again, and I was just reminded how, I mean, really good they did Luke Skywalker. So
yes.
Are we getting to the point where we can? I mean, we can just focus on Star Wars with this idea. Are we getting to the point where we could make a Luke Skywalker movie showing us different things that happened and be okay with a digitized Mark Hamill?
I think that's what they want to do with AI. AI is getting so good that that's the kind of the talk right now of different things, because have you seen those deep fakes of Biden here lately? They've been having him, he'll be saying stuff he shouldn't be saying, like, and it looks just
deep fakes.
Yeah, and it's
and pretty easy, I think, for people to take advantage of. Unfortunately, I think technology. I mean, I think you can find it pretty easily and do it yourself.
Because I mean, the deepfake faces are looking good, but now even the voices, the IA voice match, which is what they did for the Mark Hamill on that episode. But I mean, hell, you can do it on TikTok now. Yeah. Like you can just say, I want to sound like this person, and you talk, and then when you post it, it sounds like this person, and it's wild.
Well,
it's funny, but it's also scary as hell.
No, like I read an article earlier today about a wife and her deceased husband, who's a famous YouTuber or podcaster. I can't remember what he exactly did in the article, but she's contemplating about taking all of his media down because she doesn't want AI to learn his voice and copy his voice and be out there in AI world. So it is definitely a touchy subject, I think, right now. That whole AI.
I would love to see. I would love to see like contracts that these actors are signing nowadays. Like, what does it say in there specifically? Like, what part of my how much am I worth after I'm dead? Like, honestly,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like actors nowadays, if you get the right kind of contract set up, your family's set for life because you can go on living for decades. If you give permission to scan my face, you've got my face, take my voice, and we can just have those actors around for generations.
I don't even know if they have to scan their face. Who? There was somebody they were talking about making a whole movie, like James Dean or something, making a whole movie with him, a whole new movie with him in it. But it's like
I heard about that a few years ago.
Yeah. I don't know the truth in that, but I don't know if it was James Dean or was another dead actor.
It was somebody like that. It was somebody in that genre. Yeah. They were talking about doing a whole movie, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got my brain start working now. Like, what can we do? Like, we can go back and make like a for real Goonies sequel, y'all, and like they could all still be kids, and they're all gonna look the same, Like, why wait till they're dead? Let's just start making crazy, awesome sequels that we've all wanted, and it would be perfect.
Yes, the Goonies. That would be amazing. The Goonies.
Yes. You wouldn't have to wait. I mean, the whole sequel idea of their kids doing it and then being adults is one thing, but what if we could still have the kids?
20 years, and I wouldn't doubt if that's what Hollywood is doing. They don't even have to have actors. Actors will be out of business. They just it's just all algorithm. They just,
depending on how good they got the CG body movement. Like, you'd still have to have somebody to be the stand-in, but the whole Luke Skywalker thing, they just new face. And
well, they might not even have to have that. They
I-
might be able to generate everything, the whole thing, the whole scenery, the
They
whole
could, they could.
actor, everything could be.
yeah,
Because especially if we can, we start cracking into quantum computing and stuff and have, massive, extremely fast computers, more fat, a whole lot faster than we have today,
definitely.
So,
it's scary. It's Bob. What's up, Bob?
I think
Bob's
I
going
think
on?
the first group buy I got from you, I don't know if it was a group buy. I think the first thing I bought from you though, Jody, was definitely the Goonies Cinema Museum.
Oh yeah, the CM. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, one of my joys.
I kept the I had to get one of the one clicks of that one for myself. That box right there is just beautiful.
Oh yes.
I had to keep this. This was so exciting when this guy. I'm pretty sure Goonies was my first. I think it was my first group buy with them, and it took forever to come, like all CM does. But it was totally worth it.
Yes. Does that have the map on the inside of the magnetic flap too? Right when it folds open, is that correct?
Yes. Well, it came with a map too. It came with like a printed out like real life thing. No, this has got you got
Oh,
Lana,
nice.
Willie, and then all the characters.
I like that too.
But it's like the little gift, quote unquote, that they give you. They gave you like I haven't even opened it yet, but they gave you like the full map that opens up.
Did you get the Jaws one click from them too?
Yes.
Nice.
I had to. I love this artwork.
Yes, I picked up the full slip, but
that was one. I don't think I wasn't hosting for them when this dropped.
No, you offered I think to get it help me get it, but
I stayed up and snagged this direct buy off their website. It's just like an everyday collector, and I was super excited to get that because I'm not supposed to show this, but I had that same artwork. I had my custom slip girl make a slip case for just a steelbook.
Nice.
Like years ago. And when I saw them post that, and I was like, well, there's no need to have this. If anybody needs one, but I tried selling them on my Instagram and CM like immediately was like, what am I looking at here? I'm like, it's not y'all. And he was like, yeah, but we have like exclusive rights to that artwork. I was like, okay, I'll take it down. It's my bad, y'all. It's my bad.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
No, I love CM. They definitely do take a long time to get out. You gotta be patient.
Well, it's like I gotta tell everybody because I mean I've got people hitting me up weekly like, do you have any updates? And like I get what they did in order to stay in business during COVID, but at the same time, it's really starting to bite them in the ass right now, especially for me as a host. I mean, I'm just waiting for the day of just the onslaught of I want my money back. It's just like because it's such a long wait, but they couldn't produce anything, so it was either keep posting pre-orders and getting income coming in, or go out of business.
Yep.
And the sad part is that whole thing, especially over where they are, lasted a lot longer than anybody expected. And they haven't been able to start producing anything until like last year.
Yeah.
But they were still pumping out pre-orders. But I was talking to them not too long ago, and they have one coming up. It's pretty freaking exciting. He sent me pictures of it, but I'm not allowed to share it yet. But
yeah,
he was like, I want to start getting to where we have everything in the house. It just needs to be assembled. And that's when it goes up on pre-order.
That's smarter.
And I'm like, that's the way to do it. Let's do that. Let's please do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've still got a lot planned, but they've got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah. I'll try not to bother you every week waiting on my 2012 mag order, but no promises there.
Dude, that right there, I'm going to tell you a funny story because I just got done talking. That was on its way. Okay. That was my last mag shipment before the whole Media Psychos debacle went down, right? And I was tracking that order. I am in Lebanon, Tennessee, which is about 30 minutes outside of Nashville.
Okay.
That box made it to Nashville and then departed Nashville. So I'm thinking, cool, heading to Lebanon. Later that day, it's in fucking Miami.
I think you posted a story about this.
Yes. I'm like, I don't live no. And they sent that sumbitch all the way back to them. And so I'm sitting here talking with the guys like, dude, I don't know what happened. Obviously, the paperwork's got to be right. It made it all the way to Nashville.
Yeah.
And he's kind of pissed because it's out of his pocket to ship it back to me. And I'm like, he sent me all the stuff. It's like, is all this right? I'm like, it's perfect. I don't know what happened. I'm guessing maybe something important got ripped off, and they were like, "Oh shit, what do we do? Send it back." I don't know.
A barcode didn't scan or something. I mean,
something.
I did 3 when Scream Factory did their 10th anniversary this year. I did 3 different orders over $100 and got 3 different T-shirts. And they dropped one of my T-shirts off in California at a mailbox in there, and shipped it out of the East Coast. And I'm in Colorado.
Right.
And I ended up getting that like 2 weeks later. I didn't care because I had 2 other ones already. I didn't need 3 shirts, but yeah, the mail system is kind of a strange ideal. You know, I'll see a package in my hometown and I won't get it for 2-3 days. Sometimes I'm going, are they, you know, what's going on?
Yeah. I was frustrated. As soon as I saw it was in Miami, I called and tried to figure out like what can I do to get this back over here, but she was like, it's already been marked to be sent back, and I'm like, what? Can't we just call somebody?
Do you get like the same delivery guy every time? Does he know you by name now with your big packages?
I used to have the most beautiful delivery woman here in this neighborhood. She knew me. If something was, I had one guy that used to send me things and had my house number, like the two of the 3 numbers were flip flop, but she knew my last name, so she knew what house they took to. She left for whatever reason. I haven't seen the same person one time. It's always somebody different now. And like I had a deal worked out to where if it needs to be signed for, just sign it for me. And just the other day, I get a ring. I got the Ring doorbell. I'm at work, and he's like, "You need to sign this." I'm like, "Can't you just sign it?" We're not allowed to do that. I'm like, "Yes, you are. I promise." I had one with a little like you missed a shipment tags, but it was like a copy of one on a piece of paper put in my mailbox, saying that this is the last attempt, and it's going to be sent back tomorrow. And it's like 3:30, and the post office closes at 4. I'm like, what? So I get in my car, I run down there. They're like, yeah, this was the 3rd attempt. I'm like, no, it wasn't. There hasn't been 1 attempt. Nobody's asked me for this. It was fixing to get sent back to France. I was like, I can't afford to have that shit back here.
That almost happened to my Jaws film arena that I bought. It for some reason required a signature, and I wasn't at home to sign, and went back to the post office, and they had to dig around to find it. But luckily, I was able to get it and sign for it at the post office. But that was like the most I had ever spent on a premium steelbook at that time, and I was like, "Am I gonna?" Yeah, I'm like, "Do not, please. I need to have this."
Yeah, the mail system is a fun thing, especially doing this. Like yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, the final box of Mantalab mother boxes arrived, and
wow,
they always use DHL. I love DHL because they're so fast. And for whatever reason, that dude just backed his truck into my driveway and dropped it right in front of my garage door instead of my front door up on the porch, kind of out of sight, out of mind, and just drove off. And I'm sitting at work looking at my ring. I'm like, well, that's just screaming, take me. Like,
oh, could you imagine the porch pirates though on that one, opening up a bunch of just Mantalab boxes, and
they wouldn't know what the hell they're looking at.
No, they would be so confused.
They would have no idea what they're looking at.
I believe that was last summer. It was during the Olympics because I ordered that Criterion at the Olympic Games box set, that big box set they have.
Oh, yeah.
And Well, that was back as still when COVID was going on, obviously. And that's when Amazon was sending just randos to deliver. You know, you get a guy, I don't know how it was in your area, but you get a guy in a pickup truck, and, you know, you just had this sketchy people delivering. It's like, I don't know if I want these people knowing where I live, you know. Just,
Sure.
and, because I live kind of out in the country off the road, about a half a mile off the main road. No, I'm just joking about that. But had this guy, he had a pickup. He pulled up in his pickup truck, and he literally produced it was raining one day. It was been a pretty hard rainstorm. He produced the box he was delivering out of the back of his truck, not inside the cab of the truck, out of the back of the truck.
Yes.
And it was drenched, and it was that set. And I think the box was basically coming apart at this point because it got so wet. But luckily, for some reason, the box set had been shrink wrapped. They had done like an extra job shrink wrapping it, and it was completely sealed in plastic, so it didn't hurt anything. But if it had been anything else, it would have been destroyed. And I didn't say nothing to the guy, obviously, when he brought it. I was just like, what the fuck? You know,
For sure.
I had one show up like that from Germany, and I had been waiting. It was an old contact I had where I was shipping her a bunch of stuff, and she would just collect it. And once it got so big, she sent it to me, and it was luckily all brand new stuff, still in the shrink wrap. But I get this box, and it's just wrapped in that brown tape, and that's all that's holding this thing together. It's just, you can just do this with the cardboard. I'm like, oh no, this can't be good. And I was just so scared to open it. And because, I mean, it had been so long since I'd got anything from her. I couldn't remember what was in it. I was like, whatever's in here is gone. There's no way. And I'm never going to get this stuff again because it's out of print. Like I pre-ordered this stuff as soon as it came out. But yeah, I opened it. Like I said, everything was still brand new. So nothing got damaged inside. But I don't know where that box had been. It's like somebody just left it outside for weeks. And I was like, oh yeah, that's supposed to go to the United States.
Yeah. I've had to have settled. During COVID was terrible. I ordered a couple of old DVD sets off of eBay, and I kind of was tracking the shipping on them, and it got to Lexington, which is, you know, close to me.
Yeah.
And it just stopped, and it sat there for a while, like a week, and I was like, what's going on? I mean, I kind of figured it was kind of when they were having like delays for code, and it just kept sitting there like more than a week. So I got aggravated, and I actually called UPS. I called that and like started griping at, and the guy, he must have been bitched out like 20 times that day. I mean, he was just like not having it. And I was like, what the heck's going on? You know, and I think it took me like a month to get that because they were holding everything because they were afraid there was going to, you know, stuff was infected with COVID. So they were just letting everything set in I guess a shipping container out back, certain orders coming from some places like that. And I had several Best Buy orders got like redirected and went to the wrong places, and I had to basically get replacements. And then I think I had 2 different steelbooks come in like a month or 2 after I ordered them, and I ended up having a free copy that I give away. But they replaced them, but they went to a different state for no reason and got stuck in that COVID mess.
Yeah,
COVID was screwed up. Everything was just messed up because everybody was ordering from Amazon. Everybody was ordering from everywhere. So it was just a madhouse of shipping.
Yeah.
Well, it's been actually it's been more than 2 weeks since our last episode. But what have y'all gotten anything in the past couple of weeks? Anything new added to the collections that's exciting for you?
Several things. I think probably the obvious stuff, Jody. Like you can go ahead.
I've gotten I got Rocky 3 today. I've got Rocky 1, 2, and 3 now.
Yeah, me too. That's what I had in my hand.
Yeah. It's kind of sucks that they did that like that, doing it all separately. I kind of get it. Kind of helps the wallet, but what else have I gotten?
Give me 1 second. I'll go grab a couple of things I picked up, and then I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're good.
Now, I did watch Rocky 1 so far. I didn't pick up Rocky 1 and 2 until yesterday. I had to take my grandmother to the doctor, and I was like, on the way back, I was like, hey, I'm going to stop by Best Buy and just see what, because actually I'd seen that 4-pack had come out, and I had that in my mind to buy the 1 through 4 just together and not get the steelbooks. And they had 1 and 2 sitting there in steelbooks, and I was like, what do I want to do? 64 for this? I'm still going to pay nearly 60 for over 60 for the steelbooks, but I don't know. I'm just a big Rocky fan, so I had to pick them up in steelbook. I was like, well, that's cool.
They look good.
One set. I wish they'd have been in one set.
I do too. I do too.
And I don't understand why 5's being omitted right now, even though
I don't know why they're holding off on that.
It's not the strongest, but of the movies, but I still would like to have it.
I would too.
I think I may have heard that Stallone might be working on a alternate cut of 5.
Wow, that'd be cool.
So that kind of like what he did with 4, and that might be why it's delayed, I think, a little bit.
That'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Is there something changed in 4?
I think there's a alternate cut that has like scenes in different orders, and then some additional scenes that weren't in there originally, I think.
We'll get Rocky redo.
Yeah, it's like it's
called like the Redux.
It's called like the Drago cut or something like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was reading about that. I haven't seen much on it though.
Yeah, because I picked up the Rocky 1 through 4 set, but I didn't pick up the steelbooks this time. I saw them like probably 2-3 weeks beforehand in person. Because I work at Best Buy, so I get to see all the steelbooks shipped in before they hit the shelves, probably 2-3 weeks. And I liked the artwork, but didn't quite have the shine I was hoping for in person. So I just went through the 1 through 4, but I did pick up like the Mask of Zorro.
I got that one. That one turned out good. I like the way that looked.
Yeah, and I liked how Sony's been doing like adding the Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision to some of their older 4K titles that been already released in 4K. Like I think that's what they did with Air Force One. This one's got the Dolby Vision cut, and Dolby Atmos.
I love that cover art. That cover art was awesome.
Yeah, and the back I love too.
Yeah, that one turned out good.
Yeah, picked up Dragonheart too. I'm excited for that one. I haven't watched this one in a long time, so I might have to watch that one soon. And then I got one premium in the mail this week. Was the Suicide Squad Cinema Museum?
Yeah.
I got that.
I've got extra of those if anybody's looking.
Yeah, pick one up, guys. They're awesome. Check out that the lenticular effect is awesome. Great artwork.
Is that the first Suicide Squad or the newest one?
No, the newest one.
The newest one.
How much are they, Jody?
I don't know. I'll make you a deal.
Send me a price.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I might buy one. I haven't bought anything from you, so.
No,
I haven't opened mine up yet. I picked up the one click from Mantalab from you, Jody.
Yeah, that one turned out cool.
I prefer that set over this one. So I'm gonna keep it sealed for right now. I might open it one day finally.
My last few Mantalab one clicks, I just for whatever reason I just gotten around to open them yet. I think my Zack Snyder Justice League one click is still sealed. I'm like,
really?
I don't know why I haven't opened that yet.
But
I got the Zavi edition, their training day edition, which comes in their thicker thing.
Nice.
It comes with the alternate steelbook, a little bit different from Best Buy.
Well, they released the same one too as Best Buy, but had in the debossing in it too. I thought too. they had 2 different ones you could buy from Zavi at once.
You could. This is the one that came with this. This has like the little. It comes with a whole bunch of little extra shit, little
Kind of like
booklet and
their
little cards and
like
whatnot.
their like what they did with the Dark Knight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I picked up a couple of these Mill Creek sets they've been releasing. Hopefully they do more, but
Did you get some of those VHS
personally-
slip covers?
no, this is the
Oh.
Sci-Fi Vault 4-film Blu-ray.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry, I'm glaring. I've got to get that fixed. Or I'm
No,
not
you're
running
good.
all my lights anymore. I used to run that side light over there, and it kind of washed out the side. It gave me better light, but
Yeah.
that and this is 4-film, but they released the same type series, the thrillers from the vault, and it's an 8-film collection.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually haven't watched any of the stuff. The sci-fi movies, I think I've seen everything but the 30-Foot Bride of Candy Rock. It has 20 million miles to Earth, creature with the atom brain. It came from beneath the sea, and the 30-Foot Bride at Candy Rock. This one has like the Black Room and Man with 9 Eyes, The Return of the Vampire 5, The Devil's Comrade, Before I Hang, stuff like that. This should be interesting. I like some of those old movies. I'm not a big horror person, but I like some of the. That's not horror, that's thrillers. But I like some of the. I like more sci-fi type horror myself. That's why I always like. I like zombie stuff, but I'm never. I don't hate horror. I collect some of it. I'm just not a big fan. You know my spiel. I respect the hustle, but it's just not my thing.
I got some custom steel books in. That's pretty exciting. I've also got a baby crying in the background, so I apologize for that. But I put these in protectors. Hopefully I don't get much of a glare, but I made a custom steelbook for Last Days. That one turned out pretty good. There we go. Glare. There it is. I don't want to take these out of the protectors. That's just too much. I got one made for the shadow. Where's it at? There it is.
I was, when we were talking about the Last Days, the last time I was telling you about Elephant. I don't know if you tried to pick that up, but Elephant, I couldn't remember at the time. It had been a while since I've seen it, and it finally clicked about what it's about. It's supposed to be kind of loosely based on the Columbine shootings, like a school shooting. Yeah, that's what, because that one's kind of loosely based on Kurt Cobain killing himself, and that one's kind of based on the. So they're both of those movies are kind of loosely based on like kind of real events, but they're not. They're kind of. I don't know what you call that exactly. They're not biopics by any means. They're not, and it's not based on the true story because it's complete. But it's supposed to be like kind of fictionalized versions of those.
I was going to grab that other one we were talking. What was the other one we were talking about? Was it Gary? Is that the name of it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Shout was doing a sale this past week that I made up a cart, but I never pressed buy. So I just didn't. I don't know if the sale is still going on or not, but that Blu-ray was part of it.
You need to check out I sat down and finally watched The Young Sherlock the other day, and that transfer is amazing. It's a Blu-ray, not 4K. It looks wonderful.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I want to show my wife because I love that movie.
Because it's got a lot of snow in it. There's a lot of snow, and it's like really crisp and wide, and the dark scenes are like really black. It's just a great transfer. They must have had a really good copy of the movie to scan. It must have been a really good copy because it looks really good.
That's good. I was super shocked to see that get a steelbook. I was just so surprised.
Yeah,
but it's very, very happy. Screaming baby.
As far as 4K, it's already. You can't tell it's a 4K. I've already got it. I've already watched it, but this was a good one. Joan Crawford, Mildred Pierce. This is a really good movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a Criterion 4K that just got released.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. kind of a it's noir. It's a noir-esque movie, but it's not quite a noir. It's kind of a noir. They kind of call it a. It's not like really. It's not like politically feminist, but it was kind of a feminist noir type movie. It's really good. It's told more from the perspective of a woman instead of being reversed and kind of, and all the men are kind of the scummy people. A lot of noirs. You got like the blonde who's kind of who's usually tricking the guy or doing, undercutting the guy, but this was kind of reversed roles, and where the woman's kind of the, she's on top, and like the men are kind of the scummy guys in it. So it's a really good movie. Yeah.
I still need to check this out. I got the Arrow Video for.
I told James about Banshees earlier, but Charlie said he got that a few weeks ago when we had a show, so it's been out a while. Yeah.
I still need to watch this. It's the 4K of the Sisters Brothers from Arrow Video. I haven't watched this movie in a long time, but I want to check this one out for sure.
Is that good? I've never seen that one.
I liked it. I mean, it was pretty good. It's got freaking John C. Reilly, Joaquin Phoenix, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well,
nice.
It was a great cast. What were their real names? They're about bounty hunters in the Wild West.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
It was, I forget when it originally came out. 2018? So yeah, it's not that old.
Yeah.
I forget where I saw it the first time.
This finally came out, and I've on Blu-ray, and I've been waiting for it for a while. I have it on Laserdisc, but it's the original Italian Job. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I haven't watched it yet. It's still in the cellophane, but I'm not sure if I actually like it as much as I like the newer one. Because I've watched it a couple times on the Laserdisc, and it's really good. But I don't know which one I like better. They're both really good. I like the newest one as well, the newer remake, the remake, excuse me.
Yeah, that's a good example of a remake done well, for sure.
Yeah.
Hollywood just probably needs to wait an extra 20 years between remakes more than they are now.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. Actually, that's kind of weird. I mean, Hollywood would. I don't like it at all anymore because they just don't do a real good job at it. But like, I can't think of the name of it. Excuse me. It's part of those Columbia sets I have, but it's a I'll have to get up here and get it in a second. But it's like a 1930s movie, but it was remade in like the 60s with Jack Lemmon. And it was a pretty good remake, but it was almost like in a way, like parts of it seemed like it was a shot for shot remake, but it wasn't shot for shot. But it had some scenes that were set up just like the original. So it was really good. It was a really good one. Sorry, I'm bad with names. I can't remember the name of it. A movie I just watched. Yeah. Yeah. But, this is a fun movie. It's not incredibly great, but it came out in the 70s, and it was really colorful because it was actually shot in Peru. It was called Secret of the Incas. They shot a lot of it around Machu Picchu and like Caracas, and the city of Caracas mainly where a lot of it was shot, but some of it was shot on sets and things they had made that kind of look like Machu Picchu, but they actually did a lot of filming there. But it's called Secret of the Incas. Charlton Heston. Really, it's just but this is what's interesting about it. Like, it's fun. It's really cool. When you go back and watch a movie and you find something that's in a modern movie, but the opening soundtrack, which it comes back in later on, is actually in The Big Lebowski. I think it's one of the that weird like kind of like chanting that's in. It's in one I think it's the scene where after he gets drugged and he's like in the dream state, and he has this weird like it's directly from that movie. It's the same soundtrack. It's the same song. They use the same one. And Charlton Heston, the way he's dressed in this movie, you can't really see it on these pictures. It's aggravating, but you might be able to kind of see his clothes here. But he looks like Indiana Jones. He wears the leather jacket, but he also wears the hat that's like Indiana Jones.
Nice.
And this is 1954. I said 70s. Excuse me. It's 54. So it's kind of interesting how stuff like that. I like finding coincidences like that in movies, but the more you watch, and I think that's what like Tarantino's really into. Like if you go back and watch like Tarantino inspired movies, especially like the old kung fu movies and stuff, you kind of see his influences and the things he kind of borrows and uses in his movie, like sound clips and different, like he uses like the Bruce Lee, like he uses the Bruce Lee outfit from Game of Death in for
Kill Bill.
Uma Thurman's character, the yellow jumpsuit she wears.
Yeah.
Like that's what Bruce Lee's wearing in Game of Death, and just little things like that's really cool. All the way back to even this Western stuff he does. It's just really cool. I wish I could play that song. You'd recognize it immediately, but because I'm not a singer, so I can't really sing. And I can't sing it like her. There's always a woman in the movie like lip singing it. It's obviously just playing. She's just lip singing to a soundtrack in the movie. It's not even, but it's like it's a really haunting sounding, like, I guess it's supposed to be like an Incan inspired kind of chant. It's really cool.
Let me see if I can find it. We'll all just sit here and jam to it.
I picked this up as well, Devotion, which I've seen in the theaters. It's a really good movie.
I've heard good things about that.
Yeah. It's based on a true story. Korean War movie.
Nice.
Yeah, I was pleased with it. It was fun. It was a fun little movie. Oh, I've seen Cocaine Bear. Did anybody else check out Cocaine Bear?
Not yet.
I
want to.
What did you think about that, John?
Yeah.
I liked it because it got kind of bad reviews, but it's Elizabeth Banks, and I don't want to get into all of her stuff because she made that just horrible Charlie's Angels movie, and it tanked. I don't know if she tried to make this as redemption or for making that, but I liked it. I should have pulled it. There's actually a Kentucky filmmaker that made like a Killer Bear movie in the 70s. I can't think of his name right off. He's kind of well known in the horror community. He made a lot of a lot of like B horror movies back in the early 70s, and he made like it's kind of one of his more famous, but it's about a killer bear as well, and it kind of has that vibe. But that's also another story that's kind of loosely based on. It's loosely a true story as well, because I don't know if the actual killer bear aspect was true, but them dropping all that cocaine into those forests like that all was true. So like dropping that.
I think the real story is literally just like, yes, the bear found it. Yes, the bear ate it all, and then he died.
Yeah,
that was pretty much the true story. But I love this imaginary part of it. I think that part's great.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a little tame for my taste. I mean, it didn't have any actual mauling. You didn't see them actually. It would like go behind a bush whenever, and then like a leg would fly out onto the ground, severed leg. So you didn't actually see any like goriness, actual like guts being ripped out. It was just kind of, so that was kind of disappointing. I mean, it's not that I necessarily crave to see that. I don't really necessarily want to see it, but it was made to be mainstream, not like a like a a B horror back in the day where they would show crazy stuff like that, and you could get away with it. So actually, I was trying. I guess I'm sure it was rated R, but it was fun. It's just a fun movie to check out. It has some pretty funny comedy in it. It's a I don't know. When I got out of the movie, when the ushers at the movie theater, one of the guys working there, he asked me what I thought about it. I liked it. He kind of asked me what was the movie, what genre it was. And I said gore comedy, and gore is not really the right definition. It's like a light gore comedy. It's something like I don't really know how to classify it. Like animal attack comedy. I don't know.
I know. I was trying to.
So.
I listened to I forget. I listened to a podcast where she was on it talking. I think it was a Conan O'Brien podcast, but she wasn't sure if this was Ray Liotta's last film because he was filming something when he passed in another country. I forget what country he was in when that was happening. But according to IDB, that this is his last film. So I guess whatever he was filming is not going to get released, or they took him out of it. I don't know what the situation was with that. But when I saw him in the trailer, I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't know he was going to do this.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go see Champions tomorrow night. I'm gonna go check that out. It got pretty good reviews. It looks like.
Which one's that? Well, I know that title.
Woody Harrelson.
Oh yeah, basketball team.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, they're like I guess they're kind of like mentally challenged. And
Yeah. I think it's like a mix.
The team. Yeah. I want to see 65 as well, even though it's got pretty bad reviews. I still want to kind of check it out because it looks like some kind of weird, kind of odd ripoff of Planet of the Apes a little bit. Like not so much there's going to be like some humanoid dinosaurs there or anything like that, but it looks like something. It's kind of this weird thing, but it got kind of bad reviews. It's got only 5.7 here on IMDb, which I don't necessarily trust reviews, and especially not Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes, you're better off on Rotten Tomatoes trusting the audience score over the critics. So the critics are just balled off these days, like the real critics, because half the time they'll just give stuff like horrible stuff, like they'll get like 100%. And like something good will get like 50%. So you got to go by the audience score because it's usually the more honest of the scores. Though sometimes I'll go ahead.
I was gonna say I like the idea behind that movie 65, but I really wish that they would have advertised it and not given it away. I think it would have been cool if they advertised it as like more of a monster movie, like a sci-fi monster movie, and not giving away what's happening. So when you go to see it, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I really wish they would have believed in it enough to push it as just a sci-fi monster movie.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have gotten a lot more people's attention. And once it got out that, hey, you need to go, like, you need to see this. And even like, push it as when you see it, don't tell. It's like push it with that kind of advertising. When you go see it, don't tell. And everybody's like, don't tell what? What are we talking about? I think that would have gotten more people excited to see it. Because, I mean, the idea behind it, I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's executed well, I have no idea.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that they revealed that it was Earth. It definitely was Earth. Because at first, the first trailers didn't say that. And then, like later on, it was revealed this is they came to Earth. They found Earth. In the trailers, I was like, why did they reveal that? Even though everybody seen the trailer knew that's what it was. But it was, They
should have left it to where you think it's a monster, but then you go in the theater and you're like, oh shit, it's a fucking dinosaur. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is a dinosaur movie, y'all.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cool. Well, hell, I mean, they're doing that with everything. It's like if you can tell if a studio believes in a movie or not, depending on how much they show you in the trailer. And it seems like every single movie in the past decade, we pretty much get the movie in the trailer. That's just telling me that y'all really don't believe in the story. You got the same thing happen with Shazam. Here, it's coming out Thursday, and I think the latest TV advertisement shows Wonder Woman in it. I'm like, well, that would have been a nice surprise, like in the theater, to see Wonder Woman. But no, here she is. She's in the movie. Y'all come see it. It's like, God, come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Drop hints. Don't drop the bomb. Drop hints. Like
these kids anymore, I think you just have to tell them directly everything. You just got to spoon feed them everything anymore.
Exactly.
It's like, surprise.
I've been noticing that like in movies lately where, something will happen and then somebody has to walk you through what just happened. And I'm seeing it more and more. And I guess that's just, are we that dumb as a society? Like we can't watch a movie and see something happen and go, well, that was cool. But you have to have somebody back up and come like, all right, so what just happened was this. Like, yes, I know. I just saw that. I understand. Yeah, but that person was related to this person. Yes, I remember 20 minutes ago. I do. Like, why are we doing that now? I don't know why we need that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. I pay attention too closely.
I picked up the Dennis 1 and 2
yes, you did.
collection.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love their releases.
Yeah.
That's a nice looking slipcover on that one too.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get into the Mill Creek VHS slipcovers. I got the one for Problem
That's the
Child.
one. And I went to pre-order it and I couldn't find it on Amazon. So I haven't seen it. Yeah.
That's where I got mine there. And I got the Fear. They did one for Fear.
I
love this VHS slipcover idea. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have quite a few of them kind of on accident, but now I'm just like I'm actually like looking for them because they've done some really cool titles with that. They did freaking King Ralph. I'm like, I love that movie. I gotta get that now.
Yeah.
And they're like max $20. There you go.
Dream a little dream. Now this movie I'm interested in going back and watching because I didn't watch it as a kid. I haven't watched it since I was a kid, and when I was a kid I didn't really like it because I loved License to Drive, and then they did this movie, and I was like, what the hell, So I'm interested to watch it as an adult to see if I understand it more, what's going on. But I literally haven't watched it since I was a kid, probably because of that reason. And I the Coreys are. My middle name's Corey, so I always kind of had an affinity for their movies. So I always enjoyed some of their stuff.
Have you seen the Corey going around on his music tour now? Have you seen that?
Which one?
The only one that's alive, but
yeah.
Oh God, it's hilarious. He was like here locally. Not if I would have known, I would have gone, but I didn't know until.
Does he have music tour?
Yeah, he thinks he's fucking Michael Jackson, man. It's hilarious. It's the greatest thing to watch. You'll watch it. It's just like, dude, you gotta be pushing what, close to 50 now? Something? I don't know. You still look like you're 17. I don't know what you're doing, but
yeah.
He's ever since he's hung out with Michael Jackson, it's like seeing it's him doing Michael Jackson's like seeing Johnny Depp. He acts like Hunter S. Thompson, all the time, like after playing Hunter S. Thompson. But he never played Michael Jackson. Obviously, he could probably play Michael Jackson because he was about that same skin color when he died. He was about the right skin color.
He could probably do it. He's got the black hair too now. He's got the long black hair. His big showstopper during his concerts is he'll do the theme from Lost Boys, whatever that big famous song was. He freaking goes after it too, man. It's hilarious. Like it's worth looking up people that are recording the concerts. Apparently his wife joins them, but she can't sing, but nobody wants to tell him. But she's like, she's the great. He'll get up there. She's the greatest singer ever. Y'all just wait, and then she starts singing. Everybody's like, okay. But it's some funny videos to watch. But he's doing it. Like I don't want to go just to watch. I'm really upset that I missed that he was here. I would have gone in a heartbeat.
This is a movie that I don't know a lot about, but one of the movie reviewers I watch, he's just ranted and raved about it. It's called Decision to Leave. It came out this year, and he's one of the guys that doesn't like everything, everywhere, everything all at once.
Yeah.
at that much at all. And because he complains that he says this is the best edited movie of the year and everything. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I picked it up so I could watch it and find out what it's all about. So, but I liked I liked everything. I always forget how it goes.
Just say everything.
Yeah, just everything. Yeah.
The everything
Yeah.
movie.
I enjoyed it myself. I personally liked it. I thought it was really good. And I didn't think it was too long. A lot of people complain, it's 30 minutes too long. I was like, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was. I thought it was just right.
I read something about the editing team on that movie was only 5 people, and they self-taught themselves from YouTube while editing the movie.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and then I think they won the Oscar for best editing. So that's pretty crazy that they really self-taught themselves.
It's a movie I haven't. I'm sorry I keep going through stuff. I just bought a lot here lately. I bought a lot more, but some of this older stuff that probably wouldn't have as much interest in. But this is a movie I actually haven't seen, and I kind of forgot about it coming out. But it's called the Man with the Iron Fist. Let's make sure I don't have it. Yeah, but it was directed by I think the RZA or. But it's a Quentin Tarantino presents movie. Excuse me. It's like a kung fu type movie.
Yeah,
but I think it's directed.
I've seen that one.
Hang on a second. Even with my glasses, the print's a little too small for me. In the dark. Well, I can't see who directed it.
Did everybody else get their copy of Kill Her Goats? Did everybody else get that? Kill Her Goats.
Yeah, the RZA directed it. So I'm interested in checking it out. It should be pretty good. What was it now?
Kill Her Goats.
Kill Her Goats. No.
And I wish I could get this. I was not expecting the embossing on this thing like it is. Look at that. Like the whole figure for like a one-off, for like a small indie company putting out this movie. I was not expecting it to look like that. I highly suggest going to watch the trailer and tell me you don't want to watch the movie after you watch it. It's just, what excuse do we have to get a girl naked? And this is one of those movies, you know.
Very cool. When did it come out?
And then murder her, like recently, like this year, like they posted it. It came with a little.
This was another good movie.
What is the Menu?
Yeah.
I was told to watch that. I have not watched it yet.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. It was excellent.
I need to check that one out as well.
Yeah, I think my dad watched that one pretty recently on whatever platform it's streaming on. And
HBO, I think.
Oh man, I need to. Is it? We have like a little group chat where he posts stuff that he's been watching. Is that good? I need to watch it.
I liked it. You know, a lot of people complained, I think, because he kind of directed him basically his own biopic, sort of. You know, so I think some people didn't like it. I thought it was fascinating because I just like the filmmaking process, and there's a lot of, filmmaking in it. Like him as a kid, showed him kind of making films. I don't know if all that stuff is. I mean, I know it's true that he made films, but I don't know what's in the movies actually supposed to be loosely based off what he made. But I assume it probably is, since it's his story essentially. So
yeah,
I didn't hate it. I didn't think Michelle Williams' performance is that great in it, but
I think
overall,
the film that he fell in love with actually was Lawrence of Arabia. That made Steven Spielberg direct, but it's pretty much his biopic film. I enjoyed that one. I picked that one up too. I thought that one looked pretty good on 4K, and I enjoyed that story quite a bit. But it is definitely Steven Spielberg directing his own biopic story for sure.
Yeah.
So
well,
I heard people complaining about that, but I started thinking like, I mean, honestly, who else would have directed it? And even if they would have gotten somebody, he would have been on set every damn day. Like just like, so he basically would have ended up directing it on it. So I mean, you really can't complain.
Yeah.
Well, you might as well, if you want the story told right, tell it yourself.
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
instead of it being told 20 years after you pass away or something, and everything kind of muddled up and
Yeah,
that's kind of.
I'm not sure. I've read and seen documentaries about Steven Spielberg. I can't remember all the details, but at the very end of the movie, he gets to meet John Ford. Like he's like when he's getting basically his first job at the studio, like when he's basically the guy's like, and the guy's like, hey, do you want to meet somebody? And he said, go across the hall from my office here, and it was John Ford's office at whatever studio it was, like Columbia or wherever he was at the time. And he was in there, and he meets him, and he just he tells him, just gives him some really crude instructions. It's him sitting there smoking cigars and just being kind of an asshole, kind of how John Ford kind of was. just crass, he was just like kind of direct to the point, John Wayne-ish type person. Him and John Wayne were good friends, and they did a lot of movies together. But but that's at the very end of the movie. I won't give you more away, but it's something to look forward to if you watch it. Yeah. But I don't know if it was John Ford that he met, or it was another director, because I'm pretty sure that story's true, but I can't remember what director it was that he met.
Yeah.
What would you? I know you like Star Wars, but what other movies would you say would be one of your? I know it's hard to classify your favorite movie. I can't do it myself because I have too many favorites. But what's something you really like, other than Star Wars, that you really enjoy?
So I mean, I say
like
one of my favorite directors,
like usually watch or something, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, so anything Steven Spielberg, I love. As you can see on my shelf behind me, got Jurassic Park, E.T., Jaws.
Yeah.
So anything Steven Spielberg, I kind of like a comfort movie that I can just throw on in the background and not have to pay too much attention to. But like if I want to like deep dive into a movie, I really like Christopher Nolan's stuff directing. I mean, everything from the Dark Knight trilogy to the mind twister of Tenet. I don't enjoy that one as much because I still don't understand that movie. But if I just want to put on a good visual movie, I like that one. That one looks great on the 4K TV. But I'm a big fan of like older films, like I wouldn't say too much older, but 90s. I love the 90s. I was just talking with my wife that like with Air Force One, there's no one that like in today's time that I don't think could play that role as well as Harrison did back then. Like there's usually some generational actors that can be replaced, every generation. They do a pretty good job, but I don't think there's anybody right now that could like play a Harrison Ford role from like the 80s or 90s today and have it be, believable. Like Tom Holland came, I guess, kind of close, in Unbreakable, but that movie, or not Unbreakable, Uncharted. But that movie just suffered from the classic video game adaptation failure, and I enjoyed that one.
It though, yeah, I kind of liked that movie. Yeah,
I liked it, but I think like the public, unfortunately, didn't.
See, I'm not a video game person, so that's why I wasn't really into The Last of Us. I didn't even watch it because I'm not invested in that storyline, and I know it's kind of zombie related, but I just wasn't invested in that storyline. And but Uncharted is the same way, so I didn't have anything to compare it to, and I think that's probably why I enjoyed it. And I think I said on the show once before is like when the trailers ran for it, they had the way they edited the trailers. I had all these like jokes in it that were like these little like dad jokes that were being said, and it made it look kind of bad. But the movie itself, they weren't really there. I felt like they either edited them out or it was just how the movie was cut. You didn't pay attention to it, so I didn't feel like I thought that element was gone. So I enjoyed it much more, a whole lot better than that. I thought I was going to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was definitely better than like the general public's consensus on it. The Last of Us, I thought has been brilliant myself, but I haven't played either of those video games. I think those may have been like Sony exclusive video games, and I'm an Xbox guy myself if I do play video games.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoyed those ones, but I think that'd be the only actor that might be able to could fill that type of role that Harrison played so well in the 80s and 90s. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that can, play the president on Air Force One as well as he did, being taken over by terrorists and saying, "Get off my plane," it's just not there.
Have you seen Sugarland Express and Duel?
I have not, but those are like what Spielberg's some of his first films. Yeah.
Duel was it was technically his first, but it's a made-for-TV movie. And Sugarland Express is technically his first cinematic movie with Goldie Hawn in that, and Duel's really good. Duel's basically the truck's the star, and it's also Dennis. I forget his name. I'm sorry. He played crap.
Not,
but he played. He was the deputy sheriff on Gunsmoke. I can't remember. He was the first deputy sheriff on Gunsmoke. Dennis. Crap, I can't think of his name. I'm sorry, can't think of his last name. But he was in some other westerns and things like that. He's kind of was a well-known actor in that era. He was in pretty well-known. Well, probably a real well-known kind of character actor type person like that. It's just little small roles, but that was kind of a starring role for him.
Yeah, I have not seen that one, but I thought I remember seeing Duel getting a 4K release sometime in the future, and I definitely planned on picking that up to try it out. I haven't seen it though.
Dennis Weaver, excuse me. Sorry about that. I'm bad about interrupting too, so.
Oh, you're good. You're all good.
Yeah.
But no, I lots of movies from the 90s. I mean, I just picked up that Matrix set from Jody from Manta Lab, and there's just not as many unique plot lines and stories that they used to make as much as in the 90s and maybe even early 2000s, and maybe they're not paying writers what they should be paid, or maybe they're just not taking the chances, but I love a good drama, good action. It really just depends what type of mood I'm in. If I really want to pay attention to a movie, I prefer a good drama, a good story that sucks me in. Like, I love City of God. That's the film a lot of people don't know too much about. I feel like it's getting more traction. But that was one that surprised me, with City of God. I love that movie. I like taking a chance too. Like, I think A24 is doing a lot of interesting films that they're trying to take chances on, and it's one of the not major studios that's actually taking a risk. So
I've been really impressed with
cool.
A24.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you. You say you mountain climb, like what? Kind of, what's the tallest thing you can see? That's my problem with that. I'm kind of terrified of heights, so that's something I can't do.
So when I do like rock climbing, I don't necessarily like go like up on a big mountain. I'd be more of like a technical climber. So I like to do like the bouldering. So that's stuff without ropes, and you go maybe, you climb on smaller rocks, maybe between 10 and maybe 20 feet tall. I mean, like the 20-foot tall ones, you definitely don't want to fall. You have to be careful and be, more safe on that. But Like I spent 2 weeks in January in El Paso, Texas, at a place called Waco Tanks. That's a really good climbing spot, and stayed in a tent for 2 weeks with me and my wife, and just climbed every day. But my parents owned an indoor rock climbing gym, so I kind of was like born into the sport. That their business opened up, I think, when I was like 3 years old, and they sold it probably about 6 years ago. So I like was raised inside a rock climbing gym. So like the Olympics were when the Olympics were on, rock climbing was in the Olympics, so it's making like a bigger jump in the sport. But I do more of like the technical stuff. So I'm afraid of heights as well, John. So I don't.
Yeah.
There is like plenty of rock climbing where you can climb, thousands of feet, and like spend the night hanging on the side of a rock face. But I don't do any of that. That's beyond me. I could learn how to do it, and like definitely could do it, but I enjoy more of like the difficult stuff.
Yeah, the Olympic stuff was more of this like speed climbing walls. That was basically the competition. Yeah. So did they have a technical portion where they
did. So they like broke it down actually into like three different like disciples of the sport or whatever. So they had the speed climbing. I think the speed climbing was probably the easiest for like people that don't know much about the sport to watch and be entertained. That's the tough part with like filming rock climbing, or like why it's not on TV, is you can't tell how difficult something is because they could put giant holds on the wall or really small ones. And you don't know what the body position is. Like if someone does a backflip on a BMX bike, everybody knows that is crazy and that's cool and that's hard. It's hard for like the non-climbers to gauge how difficult something is, but they break it down into the speed climbing, rope climbing. So they do like probably like a 60, 75 foot wall, and whoever can get the highest on there. And then they also break it down to unroped climbing. So bouldering, where they just do like difficult, more like parkour style movement nowadays in the competitions, where they like jump from a hold and then swing and catch another hold. And then they took those three different scores and multiplied them or added them all together. And whoever had the lowest amount of points won the Olympics at the end. So like the best climber in the world that most people say is the best climber didn't actually end up winning the Olympics because he was horrible at speed climbing. And this guy from Spain actually ended up winning the Olympics because he placed well enough in all three styles that he didn't have a high score. USA got second place though.
Seems like I seem like I remember watching. I try to always watch the Olympics. For some reason, I enjoy them a lot.
That's awesome.
But seemed like I watched all that, and seemed like even the technical stuff was timed, which to me that's not a really something that should be timed. You shouldn't have to be because
So for like the unroped climbings, they usually get like there's usually like 4 problems they have to try to do, and they get only 4 minutes each to attempt one of those problems, and they can't talk to each other or watch each other climb them. So they have to go in without any information about the climb. And the climbs aren't usually the most difficult for the athletes, but they are usually super technical and involve a crazy coordination jump move that's hard to do really in that 4-minute period. So I agree. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. It might evolve over time. Some of those sports do evolve.
So for 2024, I think in Paris, they're going to do speed climbing as a separate event. And then like the technical difficulty climbing as a separate event as well, and not have it be combined next time. So they're going to try it. They're going to try it out. I mean, as any new sport, it's, it's going to have some issues they have to figure out.
Yeah, I was glad they added skateboarding. I always enjoy skateboarding. I was glad it finally got added.
Well, they gotta stay relevant, like I love seeing like the classic track and field sports and like, stuff, but they also have to adapt with the times. Like the Olympics is not a a cheap endeavor for the host city or the the committee putting it on. Like it's cost billions of dollars, so
Yeah.
they gotta capture the younger generations or
Yeah.
different audiences.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would kind of. The problem is disc golf right now isn't really universally worldwide. I play disc golf a little bit, and
Yeah,
I've always enjoyed it for a long time. But it's just now starting to kind of pick up steam and in the general public. I don't know if you know
I
much about it, but
I like to play some disc golf. I used to toss quite a bit, but not as much as I should be. But I enjoy watching the disc golf on YouTube, like a tournament. They do a really
yeah,
good job of presenting those tournaments nowadays. I think almost
yeah,
better than like the PGA sometimes.
yeah.
um,
Well, there's actually the Disc Golf Network now. They have their
yeah.
own
Oh
new
wow.
channel. Yeah,
Nice.
and they cover all the elite series tours and but they have like Joe Miss Pro and stuff like that, and they'll cover, and some of the other did the disc golf guy will cover like smaller tournaments in between. If there's a 2 week period, they'll have smaller tournaments, and they have other people going out, so it's kind of all over the
Nice.
place now. So like
Yeah.
back in the 90s, back in the 90s, but I started like around 2000 the first time I played. And when I played then, there was no YouTube. There's no way to. I wasn't very good. I was decent for not having any instruction, just figuring it out on my own. But now you can go and get complete lessons. And I started playing again just recently, and I've went on there and I'm playing better than I ever did back when I was younger. I wish
Nice.
I wish I'd have kept playing for the past 20 years. Basically, the gap in between, because I would have probably been pretty decent by now. But I just do it for fun. I'm not planning on doing it for competitions or nothing
Yeah.
like that. Maybe just like a local like scramble type things, but nothing.
Yeah. Are you a forehand or are you a backhand?
Uh,
Like for your both, obvious, but
yeah, backhand
backhand.
primarily. I'm trying to work on the sidearm, but I'm not as good at throwing that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I throw mainly drive just the sidearm. I can't throw very well the other way. But it's fun to try to challenge myself and get better at both, throwing both directions.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
could,
it's
I
fun.
would, someone should make a good frisbee golf comedy, like Happy Gilmore style, but with just
Yeah.
frisbee golf. I
Yeah.
think that would, that would work well today time.
Yeah, I've thought about that and just try to get it out there in the mainstream a little more. It's starting to get there. Like they had a big spike during COVID whenever everybody was trying to, they were saying, well, you need to get outside. People would go to
Yeah.
parks and people would be throwing these discs. So they had a huge spike in interest in the sport. So they've had a lot of people added, So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I mean, technically, I guess I came back during that, but I played way before, and there's so many more companies, a lot of more discs, and it's pretty interesting.
It's a big growing sport. It's just not Innova and the other, what is it, Discraft anymore. There's so many others. I throw a couple like Latitude 64, I think, discs, and it's fun.
Yeah, I have several Latitudes. Like they're kind of big. They have like a kind of a beginner set. It's considered, you can buy. I don't know if it's technically beginner, but I think it kind of is in their line. But they're several of those discs are great though. Just great controlled mid range discs, and I've got a couple of their others, their driver and their putter and stuff. It's just they got some good stuff. But I have a lot of Discraft and I have a lot of discs, but I'm trying to whittle down to try to figure out my favorite stuff is. My favorite discs are, and Innova makes a couple. I used to throw Innova a lot when I was younger, and then when I came back to it, I kind of got into Discraft a little bit. They felt like they had a little bit better variety, but even though Innova's got a lot of stuff, but it's like Discmania. I have MVP. They make some great discs. Like the only discs I don't really like are Prodigy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you do
But-
anything fun like that, Jody, outside of your massive collection of movies right there?
I don't go outside.
Oh, that's good. Are you a
Stay clear.
vampire?
Yeah, stay clear
Not
of
a
outside.
Is that why you love the Batman? You're like a vampire. It's your
Pretty
secret
much.
villain.
Pretty much. Yeah, I go outside. All I do is burn. So I just stay away from outside.
That's all right. I'm white skinned just like you. You know, like
I do my
glowing in the
best.
light.
Family went to the beach a couple years ago. I think it was like at the right before COVID got crazy. We hit the beach. That was the worst decision I ever made in my life, guys. Don't ever do that when you're this pale.
Oh,
It's bad news. It's bad news.
Okay.
I got my boys.
Did you
One
get
was
second
playing-
degree burn or something?
It's just bad, man. It's just red, and you would think it would be a nice tan, but no, it just goes right back to pale. You know, it's just like, well, let's do it again. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah,
I got all my kids want to do outside sports. I try pushing them to basketball. They're like, no, we're going to do outside just because you don't like it. I'm like, okay, fine.
Like
yeah,
zero. Go ahead.
I watched your family video. I definitely would believe that from your kids wanting to just to despise you.
Just a despite. It's like, but you're
Got
tall
zero.
and you know how to shoot a ball. Don't care. We're going outside. I'm like, fine, football, whatever.
Zero. You got 0.00% American Indian in you.
Pretty much.
Still, it's still more than Elizabeth Warren, but I mean, it's
my wife can tan all day long. We had this baby, and the baby's as pale as me, and she's like, I don't know what to do with a pale baby. I'm like, don't look at me. Just don't put it outside.
Invest in sunscreen. Lots of sunscreen.
That's right.
I'm gonna buy some stocks now for you.
Yeah, for sure. Had to get that 1,000%.
SPF 500.
That's right. As high as I can get it. As high as I can find it.
Well, I think about to start running down the stuff to talk about. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? We're just about to hit the 2-hour mark. So
We are about, dang, that flew by.
Yeah.
That was
yeah, we'll definitely have you come back anytime you want. You know, just yell at us.
good.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully next time Charlie will be aboard. Charlie he has all the questions. Charlie has all the questions.
Yes.
I
would love to be here with Charlie sometime.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yep.
Definitely appreciate it.
It
It
was
was
a blast.
fun
Yeah.
chatting.
Of course.
Most
When's
definitely.
the do we have a date or a time frame on the next YouTube or what it's going to be about? You can kind of throw people a hint.
Let's see. I
What
think
you
it's
gonna
gonna be
do?
about this guy right up here, that
The
monstrous
big monster.
Yes.
the big monster of Ultra HD Club Jurassic Park.
Yes.
I definitely want to show off like the whole Ultra HD Club collection that I have.
Cool.
I don't have all of it.
Yes.
People need to get excited about that label because they
Yeah.
make the
Yeah.
most. They don't do still books, and it's like as soon as
Yeah.
people, as soon as I announce one, and people, is it still books? Like no, they don't do still books.
No,
So you've got to
it's-
get in on this though.
like I mean, like you have your mummy kind of showing off in the corner. But
Yeah.
That mummy set
That mummy
is-
set's awesome.
like top notch. Like if you missed
Yeah.
out on that everything blue set and you want a nice premium for the mummy, definitely try to find the Ultra HD Club. Like it might be hard to find it now, but don't sleep on these guys. Like
No.
Jody was saying, don't sleep on them. They
It's a great
are
label.
surprising. Got
Nice.
ET, like Jaws, like your favorites. And I think they got some big ones planned in the future. So watch out for those group buys.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that got come out this year is going to be in wooden cases, so that's going to be interesting.
But yeah, so those would probably be my next videos. A little bit longer. I'm gonna do a couple of shorter videos too. I have, about just some new pickups, but watch out for the Jurassic Park Ultra HD Club video coming hopefully here soon.
Awesome.
Planning on this week hopefully. So
Great.
but I also just became an uncle though today too, so I might be a little busy helping out my sister with her newborn. So
Nice.
Have fun with that. You get to
Congratulations.
get them, have fun, and give them back. It's great.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
Well, awesome. Awesome. John, it was fun as usual.
Yep.
And
Had a
James,
good time.
again, thank you for joining us. Everybody that hopped on the chat, thanks for all the hellos and the hays.
Yep.
And
Awesome.
this was fun. Hopefully we'll be back.
Guys need to be a little more chatty the next time. We've had several people in and out, but we've had several people in and out. They just weren't talking tonight. I guess our banter is just that good that they just
that's right.
They just want to listen
and enjoying it.
Listen and learn. They don't want to do anything else. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, this has been Cult of Collectors, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks, hopefully with a whole new guest, and hopefully with Charlie. We'll find out. We'll see if he buys a house. Let's find out that happens or not. On your next Price is Right. That's right. All right. Thanks again, James. We'll see y'all later.
See ya.
Have a good one.